Hey, read through the word. Today is January 6th. My name is Lisa Nance, and today's lesson is called What Were You Thinking? I really wanted to title it, Dude, What Were You Thinking? But I held back off of that. I spend most of my days with teenagers, so my slang gets in there sometimes. And I am excited about today's lesson. So we've made it through our first weekend, and now we're on Monday, our first Monday morning of 2025, going into our lesson. And so today we are with Abraham and Sarah, and I'm specifically taking this from Genesis 21 through 18 is the context, and that's what all's going on. I'm going to give you a little bit of a synopsis of it, and then specifically, I'm looking at verses 8 through 10 that say this. It says, Abimelech got up early the next morning and quickly called all his servants together. And when he told them what had happened, his men were terrified. Then Abimelech called for Abraham. What have you done to us? He demanded. What crime have I committed that deserves treatment like this, making me and my kingdom guilty of this great sin? No one should ever do what you have done. Whatever possessed you to do such a thing? What were you thinking? Yes, Abimelech, you are right. Okay, so, if this is your first time, 10th time, 15th time, more than that, of reading through the Bible, here is the one big thing to remember, that as we look at these stories, and stories, I mean biblical account, but as we look through these, the big thing to remember is these people are normal, everyday people. And they aren't the hero of their story. So many times we can look at the patriarchs and Abraham and Jacob and Moses, and we're like, oh, I just want to be like them. No, okay, well, yeah, we're like them. That's the point. They're normal every day, and they mess up big time. And we all think Abraham, oh, he does, but Abraham is not the hero of the story. So please remember that. Once again, what we watch Abraham's walk of faith look like is 1 step forward, 2 steps back. 1 step forward, 2 steps back. Sound familiar? Abraham is defining his relationship with God and his covenant with God by circumstances. And that's what we see. So to this point, I mean, we've been through a lot with Abraham in just a short few days. We've seen Abraham obey God, but we've seen him lie about who his wife is. You know, he was like, well, it's a half-truth. She is my half-sister. But you left out the wife part. So, even an outsider, a Canaanite, can see the problem. What are you doing? What were you thinking, Abraham? What were you thinking? And Abimelech calls him to account. Now, here's a little side note in the midst of the lesson, is Abimelech is not a name. Abimelech is a title. And so you're going to see Abimelech a lot in the Bible. We'll see it again. We see it in Genesis. We will see it again in Judges. So we will see it, and it's a title like prince or king, Abimelech. So, and he is the king of Gerar, or Gerar, Gerar is who this Abimelech is, and he calls him to account because Abimelech takes Sarah with Abraham's permission. He's like, oh, she's my sister. Here, have her. And God enters into the situation to protect Sarah. Now, we have already seen Abraham do this exact same thing before in Egypt and said yes. And it said that Pharaoh took Sarah as his wife. Well, that's the Bible's way of saying there were husband and wifely things occurring between Sarah and Pharaoh. But we do not see that same wording here at all. So I want you to pay attention to that, because God steps into this situation because it's about time. It's about time. Remember, God has made a promise to Abraham and Sarah that they will have a child. And there can be no doubt that this is Abraham's child. So God steps in to protect. And so that no one in the community, no one can ever say that the child that Sarah has is not Abraham's. Because there are covenant promises tied to this. So God steps in. And God enters into the situation to protect Sarah. And he informs Abimelech of the truth. She is his wife. And Abimelech's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Wakes up and tells everybody, stop. We have to make this right. And we have to make this right. And Abimelech confronts Abraham. And Abraham has the opportunity to take another step forward in his relationship with God to show that he understands who God is. But once again, we see Abraham take a step backwards, because Abraham makes excuses. He's like, well, it's one of those, I can just see the situation. He's like, this is a godless place. And he's like, they're going to want my wife, and she's really my sister. We have the same father, but we have different mothers. You can just see the conversation. It's like, well, really, I wasn't really lying, because we have same mother, different mothers, same father. I married her. And then God told me that I had to travel and go place to place. And I was like, you're really pretty. And so you're going to have to tell people you're my sister, so they won't take you, because they'll take you and they'll kill me. And I told her. And so he's like, do you see this? He blamed God. Well, God told me to move. And so in order to protect Sarah, I'm really protecting myself. Abraham makes excuses. He makes excuses. And he still doesn't understand who God is. Had he understood that, we wouldn't have seen the whole Hagar situation. We would not have seen any of the lying, because if he would have understood, God has made a promise. God has made a promise to take me and make a people from me, to give us land, to give us a name, to give us a future, and through us the whole world will be blessed. Well, if this God can do that, he will protect me and see it done. Abraham doesn't see that yet. But he makes excuses. We'll see many other patriarchs do the same. But Abimelech acts honorably. He responds honorably. Abimelech, he maximizes Sarah's welfare. He makes sure Sarah is taken care of, and no one can say that anything has happened to her. He restores her honor as the wife of Abraham, and not just some woman he's allowed into his household. He also bestows gifts. He's like, your God has told me who you are, who she is, and you will not leave here with me, with anyone saying I have not treated you kindly. And so he bestows gifts upon gifts upon gifts upon him. And so I was like, here, take this stuff and get out. But here's the thing. God is present and active in the entire situation. Had Abraham thought first? Because we see that God is present and active through an outsider. God is present and active through the rebuke of another. And that's the point that I want to make for us today. Is sometimes we receive warnings from other people. Abraham could have said, oh, I have been called by God to do this. I can do whatever I want. But Abimelech spoke up and said, what were you thinking? And Abraham proves he wasn't thinking. He wasn't thinking about who God is, and he was not thinking about the covenant. He wasn't. How many times do we do that? Do we act before we think of who we are as a child of God and finding our identity in the cross of Jesus Christ? Of understanding who God is and how he works in this world. And we make so many dumb decisions because we didn't think through them. But that God can work in our lives through the rebuke of another person. The act of spiritual maturity is being able to take correction well. Abraham's not there yet. He couldn't. He made excuses. He didn't. It's one of those apologies. I'm sorry, but no, we don't do that. It is. So I would say we pay attention to the rebukes and we think and then act and be able to take correction. So we'll see you next time on Read Through the Word.